Today is going to be a pretty short video. I only have 4 things to cover today, and they're all to do with achievements, so we're just gonna start with Zoink right now. Currently, he is streaming Revisiting Exasperation. It seems to be a bit more of a chill stream, so there isn't really much to talk about there. However, if we look at the stream before, yesterday he was able to get 70% on Artemis 13, which is the next top 1. And yes, I'm calling it top 1. I really don't see a world that it's top 3 unless he starts doing a couple nerfs. I know he says this is going to be top 3, but if we just look at the way he's rated levels in the past, we know this is probably going to be top 1. And if we just look at his progress straight up and compare it to other levels he's done at similar difficulties, it's looking like this is still going to be top 1. I don't really have too much more to say on this topic because there really isn't much more than he got new best, but I'm pretty sure the middle section of this level is by far the hardest, so if we can get out of it, then maybe we could potentially see, pretty deep runner at completion. I'm pretty sure the ending is still tough in this level though. And then here is an interesting one. We're gonna talk about Wpopoff. Now, a couple days ago, I mentioned if anyone was going to play Heliopolis in the future, because it's looking more and more likely that Zoink, might not come back to the level. I think he will personally, but, there's a chance he doesn't. And I brought up the fact that maybe someone like Popoff could, take hold of this level, and just a couple days later, if we look at the live button here, yesterday he was doing runs on Heliopolis. Now, he says for fun, but realistically, he might play it further. Zoink has done this a bunch where, he'll say, I'm going for this for fun, or I'm doing something for fun, and then, goes ahead and beats it, or does really good progress on it, and I don't see why Popoff couldn't do the same. I think it's well in his skill to do this level. Currently, he's trying to get 48 to 100. He has 48 to 83, which is actually pretty close, considering the way that this level is balanced. He might have said something in the stream about his expectations for the level. However, I didn't even realize he was doing this until very recently, so I haven't actually gotten the chance to watch the video. But we can always wait and see to see if he'll actually go further with this. Obviously, he'll get 48 to 100, I have no doubts about that, but whether he starts playing from 0, I feel like that'll tell us if he actually wants to go forward with this level. I know he has plans to do Flame Wall already, so I don't think he'll do this instantly, but if he enjoys it enough, there's no reason for him not to go ahead with it. He'll even get an extra 10k. I'm sure he doesn't need that, but 10,000 is 10,000. Next up, we're going to talk about Doobes, who actually has 2 notable things. The smaller one that I'm not going to go into too deeply is that he was able to tie Saitama's world record on raw concrete, which is a potential top 1. I don't know why I said potential top 1, it is top 1, but the reason he's already gotten this progress so fast is just because of the way this level is balanced. It is stupidly first half carried. It's basically Heliopolis on steroids when it comes to balancing. From what I know, this level does actually have some unofficial decoration going on. Some people are making parts in that. However, it doesn't really have an official decoration. This is just a layout, and honestly, for the Brutalist style, I feel like it works best if it is a layout. I think this is a level that doesn't need a decoration, but I wouldn't be against it. I think it's pretty cool if, it did have it, because it could get rated, but I just think it works better as a layout. And then, obviously, the main thing, Doobes was able to get 85% on Silent Circles, an upcoming top 5 to 10. I think from what we know now, it's probably harder than Tidal Wave or around that difficulty, so we can probably see it land at least similar to something like Green Bullet. And yeah, this level's crazy. Obviously, I've said it 100 times. This isn't the actual Silent Circles, it's a reimagining of it that's made it possible, but it's actually kept the gameplay style that the original Impossible level had, unlike some other versions that have popped up over the years that don't really do the level justice. You can see here, this is the wave corridor. I think they did it very well here, and honestly, I'm really impressed that Doobes is able to just consistently do this thing. It's crazy, and you can see he had a really good run here. He got to pretty much the final wave there. And we're closing in on this thing's verification. We have to be. 2 weeks ago, he got 82%, and then not even, a couple weeks later, he did 85%, and this is while already doing stuff like Unknown and 58 to 100 on Raw Concrete on the side. So yeah, very impressive. I believe he said he's gonna start streaming this thing a lot, or at least putting in the effort a lot now, so hopefully we see this get verified soon. And lastly, I wanted to shout something out that's, a bit more niche. This only has 140 views, but the player Dolodak recently was able to verify isolation. I saw this level in my recommended and wanted to see if there was a link to the verification video, and there was. This just seems like a pretty cool niche level that not many people know about. I think this level had decoration before, and then it got redone, from what I can tell. And this is made by a couple people, and I just think it looks, pretty decent, and it looks very fun. It's projected to be very hard, but not list-worthy, so, around that top 200 range, probably like Crimson Planet difficulty, which would make it hardest for this player. Dolodak took 10,000 attempts to do this, which honestly, for hardest, is pretty impressive. And yeah, I wanted to highlight this level because, I doubt you've ever heard of isolation, and it looks pretty sick, so I feel like it needs a bit more attention, especially this part. I love the use of this circle effect. It limits your vision while looking cool, but not actually obstructing anything. It's still very obvious where to go. I think some levels fall flat in that department. And it's just very quirky with its gameplay. It's got a lot of, straightforward stuff, but it makes good use of some dual sections. And then there's this part that, I think it's just a pretty nice way to end it out. And then there's the end screen. And lastly, as I was editing this video, we actually saw a pretty important change on the demon list. Being silent locked got raised from 48 to 43. I had seen a couple victors really voice their opinion, saying that this thing has went ages without getting raised, and it needs to be raised because it was way harder than where it was, and I'm happy to see that it did get that raising. I think this is definitely a more fair placement. I do think post levels like Master of Puppets, there is a pretty, sharp difficulty increase, so I think having it at 43 makes sense here. But yeah, there isn't really much more to go over here. It was just a list change on the demon list that happened while I was editing. And Nexus showcased Slaughterhouse. I don't know why he showcased Slaughterhouse right now, of all times, but cool, I guess. I just wanted to leave it here because I'm gonna end the video now. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. Hope you learned something today that you didn't already know. And yeah, peace.